The sun pleased tires over the sleepy toes men streets. It is light bouncing off rows of parked motorcycle that looked like beasts listing resting after a long hour. On the distance growl off engines faded, replaced by the soft hum of summer wind cutting through the trees. It was past midnight when the rain began to fall. Thick, heavy drops that echoed off the rusted roof of the roadside diner. Jake Weston, a longtime biker with a weathered leather jacket and eyes that had seen too much, sat alone at the counter nursing a cup of black coffee. The neon, open, motorcycle sign flickered weakly in the window, painting his reflection in red and blue streaks. He had been riding for 3 days straight. No destination, just the open road and the ghosts that came with it. My princess, don't worry, can't you help me? That's when he saw her. A little girl, no older than 7, drenched from the rain, standing by the diner's door. She clutched a worn-out teddy bear and looked scared, but determined. The waitress noticed her first. Sweetheart, where are your parents? She asked gently. The girl looked up, her lips trembling. My mom's sick, she said softly. I need to buy her medicine, but I don't have enough money. The diner went quiet. Even the sound of the rain seemed to fade. Jake turned on his stool, his rough face creased with something between concern and disbelief. You came here alone? He asked. She nodded, gripping her teddy tighter. The pharmacy is still open down the road. They said if I get $70, they'll give me the medicine. I have. She reached into her small pocket, pulling out a handful of damp coins. I only have 3. Something broke inside Jake. Maybe it was the look in her eyes, that kind of hope that didn't belong to a child. He stood up slowly, his heavy boots echoing on the linoleum floor. What's your name, kid? Lily. Jake smiled faintly. Well, Lily, let's go save your mom. They stepped outside into the rain. His motorcycle glistening under the diner lights. The big chrome beast had carried him through deserts, storms, and regrets. He swung a leg over the seat and motioned for her to climb on. You ever been on a bike before? She shook her head nervously. Don't worry. I'll go slow. As the engine roared to life, Lily's face lit up with awe, the first smile Jake had seen on her that night. They rode through the empty streets until they reached the 24-hour pharmacy. Jake walked in, dripping water, and asked for the medicine. The pharmacist, a tired middle-aged man, rang it up. $73.40, he said. Jake reached into his pocket, but came up short. He'd spent his last bills on gas that morning. He looked down at the counter, jaw tight. Then he turned toward the door. Eyes landing on the one thing he had of real value, his black helmet, custom painted with flames and his late brother's initials. He set it gently on the counter. How much will you give me for this? The pharmacist blinked. Sir, we don't. Please, Jake said. It's worth at least 200. Pawn it, sell it, I don't care. Just give her the medicine. The pharmacist hesitated, then sighed. All right. He handed the bag to Lily. Take good care of your mom, sweetheart. Lily threw her arms around Jake. Thank you, she whispered, tears mixing with the rain on her cheeks. He smiled, hiding the lump in his throat. Go home, kid. She needs you. She ran off into the night, clutching the bag like treasure. Jake watched until she disappeared around the corner. Then he walked back to his bike, helmetless, and kicked it to life once more, the rain washing away everything but the warmth in his chest. 3 days later, in the sunlit gardens of a marble mansion across town. Billionaire philanthropist Evelyn Hart pulled into her driveway after a long business trip. She was exhausted but relieved to be home. As she stepped out of her car, she heard laughter coming from the backyard. Curious, she followed the sound. There, beside the fountain, her son Oliver was playing in a water tube, with the janitor. The man, in his 60s, was splashing like a child. Both of them laughing so hard it echoed off the walls. Mom! Oliver called out, still giggling. Mr. Daniels fixed the tube. It works now. Evelyn smiled faintly, but what caught her? I wasn't the laughter, it was the framed photo sitting on the patio table. It showed a young girl and an older woman, both smiling weakly, holding a bouquet of daisies. Written on the bottom was, "Thank you for saving me." She turned to Mr. Daniels. Who's that? He looked down, embarrassed. My daughter and my granddaughter. She was real sick a few nights ago. Some biker helped her get medicine. Wouldn't even take a thank you. She told me he sold his helmet for it. Evelyn's heart stilled. Do you know who he was? No, ma'am. Just a man who cared. That night, as Evelyn walked through her mansion, past the chandeliers and portraits and empty rooms, she couldn't stop thinking about that biker. About a stranger who had nothing, yet gave everything. The next morning, she ed something unexpected. A new charity fund dedicated to emergency aid for children in need. When reporters asked her what inspired it, she simply said, a man who gave up his helmet so a little girl could live. Months later, Jake Weston pulled into a small diner on the same stretch of highway. The waitress smiled as she poured his coffee. You hear about that new foundation? They're helping families get free medicine now. Some billionaire woman started it after hearing about a biker's act of kindness. Jake paused, coffee halfway to his lips. He smiled faintly. That's so. Yeah. Guess good deeds really do travel fast. He looked out the window, where the sunset burned gold across the open road. Somewhere out there, a little girl was probably playing in her yard again, laughing, living. Because he'd made a choice that night. Jake slipped his old goggles over his eyes, the wind catching his hair as he revved the engine. Maybe they do, he murmured, then rode off toward the horizon, helmet or not. Knowing that sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can change a world you'll never see. And somewhere, miles away, Evelyn Hart looked up at the same sky, and whispered, thank you, whoever you are.